So that's how we arrived to the beginning of chapter 4. And in chapter 4, author in the beginning describes us the difficulties in reading and listening, and the differences between them. Because here, Professor Uzituzi is reading the novel to the listeners, and he's not only reading, he's translating them in his head. He's going back to words again, which makes the process of listening unbearable. Because here, it's like a process of listening described as something meticulous. Did you feel that? Because I did.
Yes. When you read the book itself, you can touch.
Right.
You can feel the book and the pages, and that's really another feeling. And then reader sees that Ludmila comes, and she comes very silently, and he didn't even see her, and noticed with eye of glimpse that she is sitting on the pile of portfolios.
Right.
And then he asks a lot of questions like, has she just arrived at the moment, or did she hear the beginning, did she enter silently without knocking? And we can see so much interest to Ludmila. And but Ludmila, when Ludmila asks the Uji professor, and then when he stops his recitation, and then nothing, says the professor.
Right, and then suddenly, when he's reading the novel, the readers become interested, they're listening, and then abruptly it just ends. And he says, it's just nothing. Leaning from the steep slope breaks off here. Having written these first pages of this novel, Ukuahti, it's the author of the book, sank into a deep depression which in the space of a few years led him to 3 unsuccessful suicide attempts and 1 that succeeded. So that's how our readers become again disappointed, because they again cannot come to the finish of the novel. It again stops abruptly. And the author says, I'm sorry, not the author, but the professor Uzituzi says, this is how the Cimmerian novels end. Like, this is the usual way how they usually end, because it's like a dead language. So you can look for the continuation of the book in beyond, but he doesn't say exactly where, because he's just with one phrase disencourages them from even finding it.
You're right. He says that all Cimmerian books are unfinished, and at this moment we can see again the Ludmila's incredible interest. She's speaking like with conviction and warmth about books. She really is passionate to the reading. So the reader is depicting her voice and her gestures to show how much she likes reading. And we can see the parallel that the reader is interested in Ludmila, while Ludmila is interested in the books, in the reading. So she asks a lot of questions, and we can see also the reader describing Ludmila as like she is always at least one step ahead of you, and this makes the readers feel also some likeness like to Ludmila, because he is addressing to us like you, and we are feeling how to say implementing to her.
Right. Yes, and again in the chapter 4, for example, I became confident that the main characters of this book is the reader and Ludmila, but mostly like Ludmila, right?
Yes.
Because it's a story that we will somehow finish. We will somehow come to the end. So I think the only story that will finish here is the story about the reader and Ludmila.
Yeah, you're right. Also, I like that the narrator is addressing to us, like to you, and making us feel engaged into the story. that they are living. So, for example, he says you and Ludmila would like to sit as close as possible, and this at this moment, like I felt his feelings and asked myself, is it both of you who would like to sit together, or is it just you or me? So then they are talking about reading, yes?
Right, yes. And then, well, said Sister Dear, I see you're making progress, right? So here we see the entrance of Lotaria,
Okay.
right?
Yes. Lataria comes and shocks all of them with the news that she found the novel that they are looking for, and she invites them to the seminar to analyze it and debate. But Professor Uzituzi claims that it is fake, and all Sumerian books are unfinished. At the end, we see how Professor Galagani comes and says that he is sorry, but it is proven that this book is a manuscript and authentically proved. So again, we can see Ludmila's interest and her affect to reading. She's interested and she wants to go to this event, and again, reader is interested in her. So they come to the classroom and professors are
Yes, and then here we see like the atmosphere of the novel changes, right? Because before that, when we were reading the story before chapter 4, the atmosphere was different, and now everything is so calm, and we just see the talking of the main characters, like we just observe it.
Yeah, you're right. And they come to the classroom, and Professor Galigani, Lataria begins with thanking Professor Galigani to dispose the rare copy of Without Fear of Flying of Vertigo, and then she starts a little historical notes and describes how Sumerian and Cimbric languages are different shades.
Yes, and here, here eventually Lotaria says that as it turned out, the continuation of that novel exists. Yes, but the author is different, and the author's name is Vortvijandi, and this also wrote both in Cimmerian language and Cimbric language. But in Cimmerian language, the numbers, like the quantity of the books, were numbered, and they were like restricted, so they were too little. And even the name of the novel was changed. Without Fear of Wind of Vertigo, like it became the new name of the novel, right? And then they just start reading it, and Lotaria opens her folder, begins to read. The barber wire fences dissolve like cobwebs. All follow in silence, you two and the others.
Yes, when they impatiently waited to begin the reading, after Lotaria started to read, both of them, reader and Ludmila, understood that there is no possible connection with the novels that they had read before.
Right.
They glanced to each other and agreed that nothing common is present with this new novel that Lataria is reading and the ones that they are searching for. So whatever it may be, this novel is they are going to go into it and listen what is going to happen. Could you please continue?
Yes. Okay, and here we just see how they're engaged. Like the main reader and Ludmila are so involved in novels, they don't even stop. Yes, when they listen that this is a different novel, they don't even stop. They continue listening, and the new story, Without Fear of Want or Vertigo, starts.